What's up, Robyn? How are you? If you guys only knew, if you only knew what our day would is consisting of, but you know what? You never know. You never know. You never know. But this is Tea Time with Robyn. I am T. She is Robyn. What's up, everyone? How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is great on this Saturday. Saturday, but yeah, yeah.
Okay, Saturday edition of Tea Time with Robyn. And I didn't know you could sing.
Oh.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen,
Ay,
ladies,
ay.
she's holding out on us. But we got our own show to do here. We got stuff to talk about.
We
It's
do.
time.
It is time. It is time.
It's tea time.
So preseason is over. Thank the Lords. We got next week at this time. We'll be preparing for the Arizona Cardinals that is coming to Highmark for the home opener for the Buffalo Bills. But before we get into all of that, we just want to go back just a little bit, and not a lot, but just a little bit, just to talk about some things from preseason and then move up to what's going on this upcoming week. Over 1,000 or maybe under 1,000 players were released this past week. And I know we look at these guys as just players, right? But behind all of that, there's guys there's players and people and guys that try to make these teams, and this is their dream. And for us, it's like, all right, move over to the next man. You know, we take it so nonchalant to where these guys is out here battling, and we're just like, yeah, okay, he didn't make the squad. Okay, move. All right. So just wanted to give a shout out to all the guys, who didn't make a squad, but might be making a squad later on down the line. So they're human as well. But that being said, the Bills have released a ton of players. And after the dust is settled, and do you have any surprises? Are you surprised about any players?
It's being released.
Yes.
Ah, well.
Or on the team, released or on the team.
Okay. I was not surprised about Joe Andreessen, which we'll talk about Joe later,
Mm-hmm.
because I was fully on board with what I saw in the preseason from him. But as far as a release, I might have been slightly surprised about Andy Isabella, but that's only a moderate surprise, nothing big. And I was intrigued by the fact that the Bills signed a guy from the New York Jets. They made a trade for a defensive back by the name of Brandon Codrington. And he's
Yes.
5'8", and he's a little guy. He's an Andy Isabella kind of guy. So I'm thinking that was what the plan was. By releasing Isabella, they made room for this guy. And don't ask me what they saw in him, because I haven't even looked at the guy. I don't know what his deal is in terms of being a returner. I don't know whether they wanted to keep an extra defensive back
Right.
instead of a wide receiver. I just don't know what went into the decision making, other than they gave up a draft pick to do it. Admittedly, whatever.
Was it 6th round? Was it 6th round? I think maybe. I don't even know. It's down the line. But I think why they drafted him or traded for him is because he's a specialist in punt return. So maybe that's why. Because I think I'll say this for me, shocking that Hardy was released, but then it come to find out that he had a injury, right? And then I put him down the line. But then also too, Sean McDermott said that his decision making ultimately cost him a spot on the 53.
Right,
so I mean
he's on the practice squad.
Right. Yes, they brought him back. So I think my surprise one was Tuhill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then listening to a podcast, it kind of makes sense, because we don't know how this kickoff is going to be. This kickoff return is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be all linebackers. We don't know what's going to be, because it's no longer the guys up front, and then you kick the ball, you run down. It's no longer that. So we don't know because we've seen it in preseason. Yeah, right.
You don't know what they need, and you couldn't see in the preseason,
right?
Because the preseason was vanilla. Nobody is going to show their hand for what they're really going to do with this new kickoff thing. Nobody's going to show their hand. Right. And so you couldn't get any practice in the preseason. So everything that they're going to do, you don't even have a clue. Oh, well, maybe we'll try doing this. So therefore we need to keep an extra linebacker. I mean, who knows? Mm-hmm. Who knows? And what went into that decision-making process in terms of who's being kept on special teams and why. Right. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting point. And it was a little surprising about Tuhill. I agree.
Yeah. Well, the waiver wire happened on Wednesday, and they picked up, and I'm not going to butcher his name, so you're going to have to help me. Louis Cena? Cine. Okay, thank you. Louis Cine.
Anyway.
A former wide receiver, right?
No, safety.
Safety, my bad. I'm looking right at it. It's safety. First rounder from Minnesota. He was on their practice squad. I think it was initiated. Was he supposed to go to the Jets? And then he was like, I think I like Josh Allen and the Bills.
Maybe I'll go to the Bills instead.
Right. Love the pick. I think he's one of those safeties that Sean McDermott loves. You know, Sean McDermott loves those type of safeties. So I don't think he's going to. And let me not say that. Once they mold him, I think he's going to be something like Jordan Poyer. Why am I forgetting his name? Like a high type of because he's been injured. So if we can get him on the other side of not being injured, the potential is really, really there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's totally there. And I think it makes sense for them to do this because Cole Bishop missed the preseason in training camp. And I just think it's too much for him to take on, at least in the early part of the season.
And Sean McDermott came out recently and said they drafted him to be a starter. Now, it's so crazy because you don't want to really peep your hand or nothing like that. But I found it interesting that he said it, like going into this upcoming season. He said, we drafted him to be a starter. And then you went and got Mike Edwards, and then you got Damar Hamlin, and then who else is back there? I can't think right now. But it's just interesting that you would trust a rookie. For everyone saying that Sean McDermott doesn't let rookies play or allow rookies to play, I found it interesting that he said, I drafted him to be a starter. At what point? Maybe not the start of the season. So I'll give him that.
In fairness, there is the issue of like Dalton Kincaid, for example.
Right.
I think it's true that most of the time you don't draft them to start in a Sean McDermott system.
Right.
You don't draft them to start. But because Sean McDermott's defense, is very complicated. Mm-hmm. And so having a defensive player come in as a rookie and start is relatively uncommon. So when he made that statement, it was a statement like we drafted him to start. My thinking was, though, even under the best of circumstances, that might not have happened until a little bit later in the season, like it did with Dalton Kincaid.
Right.
But now we're going to have to see how long it takes Cole Bishop to get caught up.
I think it's very it speaks to the position, because when it comes to certain like positions, like quarterbacks, you draft these quarterbacks. Like Drake is not starting. They said that they're going to start Trubisky. Is that nope. Oh my God!
You thinking of the Patriots?
Yes, Jacoby. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna weigh on his side instead of Drake's side. I just think it's crazy because when you back in the day, you wouldn't let your rookie quarterback start. You let him sit behind a vet if you had a vet, sit behind the vet for maybe a year or whatever the case may be. And I think that was the plan for Josh, but it just didn't pan out
Welcome.
because he was kind of better than the guy that was in there. So, but you see now they have no patience for these rookie quarterbacks anymore. It's like Willis. I'm forgetting these guys.
Caleb Williams.
He played for the Titans, right?
Oh no,
Wilson Williams. Well, he was a Titans quarterback. First year, 1 year they traded him.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God. Willis something. Willis McGahee? No, not Willis McGahee. That's a running back. But Willis, he was Titans quarterback. Yes. They traded him. There's like no time. Like,
well, they obviously felt he didn't fit their system,
but they drafted the guy.
I know, but also,
and they let Tannehill go.
Was there a change in coaching staff? There was.
Now there is. He's no longer there.
Right. So that might have been,
yeah.
So that might.
You're right.
That might have been why they cleaned house, because that wasn't his quarterback.
Yeah.
So
and you got to get your quarterback. You definitely have to
have your own guy.
Yeah.
We learned about that one. So
yes. I got off to a tangent. My bad.
Anyway.
Yes.
So safety, I will add this.
Yes.
Safety in a Sean McDermott system is the most difficult position on defense because of all the calls that they have to make. It's not just the middle linebacker. The safeties are responsible for an awful lot in a Sean McDermott defense. And so to have a safety come out and be able to start, and I'm trying to rack my head because I can't remember, but I don't think the system that they had at Utah, where he came from, is similar on defense. I don't think it's a similar style defense as what McDermott has. So that means the safety position is going to be even harder to learn in your rookie year. Yeah. So I think under the best case scenario, probably McDermott hoped that he would be able to start at the beginning of the season. And if not, maybe toward the middle of the end of the season. But now I don't know. It's going to take, because this is not something that you can learn in the classroom. It's stuff you have to do on the field. The read and recognition stuff has to happen on the field. So,
and I think that's the only thing that I have, like, when it comes to our defense, I know our front is the same guys. I know they can get to the quarterback. I'm not really too worried about that. Behind that, with Darian Williams and Bernard, not too skeptical a little bit of Williams, because sometimes he's great in coverage, but he's not great when it comes to reading man and reading pass action. Like he gets befuddled, right? So then you have the safeties back here, and the corners I'm fine with, but it's the safeties that I have concern with, because it was always Micah Hyde and it was always Jordan Poyer, and they could just be somewhere right and not have to say anything to one another. If you fake out Bill Belichick, to me, you're awesome.
And Belichick said more than once that Poyer and Hyde were the two best safety tandems he ever had to scheme against.
Yes, because they're in a spot, but they're not in a spot. You know what I mean? So to me, that's the only thing that gives me little about our defense. That's it, the safeties, and that's it. And I think once Cole Bishop, and I don't know who's going to be over there. It might be Rap, like for the long haul. Once they get their own system in play, I think they'll be fine. But for right now,
finish each other's sentences like you and I do, right?
Exactly, right. You're right. Then we'll be at ease. But the first few games, I'm gonna be a little bit. Oh my god, they're getting beat. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But I mean, we can move on. We can move on to wide receivers. They got 5. They took 5. I was wrong. I thought they were going to take 6, but they took 5. I was surprised Schaefer's didn't make it, but he's on the practice squad. What's your thoughts?
I thought it was wise to put him on the practice squad. I didn't think that he showed enough in the preseason games to make anybody afraid of him. Now,
Question.
we all saw him
Do you think it's because of quarterback play?
possibly, quite
Okay.
possibly. But even that, it is what it is. So,
Right.
you know, the bottom line is it's so hard to know what the right thing is to do. If he gets plucked off and taken away, we'll all cry and feel terrible about it because he had a lot of potential in training camp. We saw
Right.
what he could do in training camp. And I absolutely think the fact that if he had Josh Allen with him all the time, we would be talking about a different situation, but we're not. And
Right.
so I think they felt like they could stash him better on this practice squad and keep him there than they would have been able to if they had to put another offensive lineman on the practice squad.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
think
with
that
you.
they were willing to sacrifice an offensive lineman for Shaver's productivity in the preseason. I think that's what it boiled down to. But that's
I'm
just
with you.
yeah.
Justin Shorter. The story of Justin Shorter is over for the Buffalo Bills, but
Yeah.
it starts anew. It starts anew in Vegas as a tight end.
Good for him. Good for him.
Everybody had, even I fell into the Justin Shorter fantasy thing, just like I went Duke Williams. I was there, you know. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I just thought they drafted this guy. He got hurt. The potential of him. I mean, he just looked like a wide receiver and looks are just what it is. It just looks. But he looked like a wide receiver that could do something in his offense, and apparently not. So the
And I
Justin
think
Shorter.
that's the thing. I think they gave him enough time. You know, their time is of the essence, and they wait for no one to develop at this point. And especially lower rounded guys, if they don't show something, they're gonna move on.
But they gave him a lot of opportunity, though, Robyn.
I thought they gave him plenty of opportunity. He and Shavers both, and Shavers is the guy that's stuck. You know, and I think he'll be okay, because what we don't know is, and this is my thought, we don't know how MVS is going to be. But I can tell you, if MVS is dropping balls, I'd be fine with releasing him and putting Shavers on. So we've got that option. The other thing that you can think about when it comes to players on the practice squad at skill positions, one of the things that I think keeps them from getting poached is that they have to come in and be signed to the active roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means that they have to give up an active roster spot to pluck somebody off a practice squad. And most of the time, they don't know the offense or the defense, whichever they play on. So they get pulled up to the 53-man roster without any experience in whatever offense or defense that they're in. I think that's a resistance point. So I think that's what makes some of the skill players a little bit safer on the practice squad than, say, the offensive linemen, for example, because you can plug and play those guys.
Right. And you know what? That's so great that you said that, because I went back and I was like, okay, how does this practice squad situation happen? And then someone said, I think it was Sal, I couldn't remember. He broke it down that where you have to, if you're going to take someone off of someone's squad, practice squad, you have to put them on the active roster. And I don't think people, like you said, want to do that.
They don't want to necessarily do that unless they absolutely have to do it.
And it's a waste too, to be quite honest. It's a waste. And it's a different check. It's a different check than the active roster to a practice squad check. It's a different check. But let's talk about something that happened again with the Jets. What I love, not the Jets, my bad, but Miami. Mike White has entered the building.
The Jets too.
Yes, yeah.
Mike
White has entered the building of One Bills Drive, and we know Mike White. You know, Matt Milano knows Mike White. Ed Oliver knows Mike White. Actually, Ed Oliver went up to Mike White and apologized to him.
Did you see what Mike White said in a press conference
about Matt Milano?
Yes. For anybody that didn't hear it, apparently he said that he was looking forward to meeting Matt Milano because he wanted to meet the person that left his rib on
a 30-yard line. He knows the yards. That's crazy. Check the 30.
He remembered where it happened. Oh my God, Mike.
I mean, a guy like that, you got
I'm
to
gonna
have him
talk
on
to
the
you about Mike
squad.
White.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to you about Mike White.
What's up?
Mike White. I like Mike White.
Well, it's funny that we say this whole name, Mike White, and not just Mike. Mike
Mike
White.
White, like it's one word.
Right.
But Mike White, those of us who remember when he played for the Jets, he beat us.
Did
I'm
he?
pretty sure he did. If he didn't, he came dang close.
Because I want to say, you know what? You got me thinking now. Now I got to go back. Now I
Go
have
look.
to go back.
Now, while
Mike
you look,
White.
I'll tell you why I like Mike White,
Go ahead.
because not only is he a good quarterback in the brain, he's a very aggressive quarterback. And Greg Cosell on his show, on One Bills Live, on his little thing that he does once a week, he talked about Mike White, and he said something that I thought was very interesting. He said that Mike White is sometimes too aggressive for his own good because he's more aggressive than he is talented. Well, I'm paraphrasing because Greg was much nicer about it.
Uh,
But he basically said that he's maybe more aggressive than his talent dictates. And that may make a lot of sense, except that, and we know this about some of the other quarterbacks that we've been looking at, none of them are prototypes like Josh,
right.
right? So Mike doesn't have the strongest arm, so we know that it's not like Josh. But if he's aggressive in his mode, in the way that he implements his job, I think that there's enough similarity there that Joe Brady can work with it. And Mike White is smart. He's
Yeah.
smart. He's very good at decision making. He's very good at knowing where to put the ball. I liked this signing a lot. In fact, I like it so much that I really honestly, in my heart of hearts, hope that when Mitch Trubisky comes off of IR, they
I
do
hope
an
he's gone.
injury settlement and let him go
Yes, me too. I'm with
and
you
keep
there.
Mike White, because Mike White has been a backup. He doesn't need to be a practice squad guy. So bring in Mike White, as far as I'm concerned, and then if you want, if you can unload Trubisky, then bring back Ben DiNucci for the practice squad. That makes all the sense in the world to me.
I like that too. I thought Danucci was actually going to be on the squad. It doesn't say Mike White. I remember the game you're talking about. I think it was Halloween.
I just
That
remember
game, that was Mike White's game as well. I can't
he
remember. I
did
think we won
damage
that game.
to us. He
Yes,
did
Mike.
damage.
He's. It was a very very close game. If he didn't beat us, it was very very close. I like the fact that Mike White was in Miami and he knows all of the do's and the don'ts when it comes to Tua. Even though we don't have problems with Miami, and even though Miami is pretty good still, I just like the fact that he has some intel on Miami.
Two AFC teams.
Right?
Two
So
AFC
I
East
kind of like
teams.
that.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Poyer has stuff on the Buffalo Bills. We have something on Miami now. I thought it was a no-brainer to pick him up. Kudos to Sean McDermott and Brandon Beams for going out and getting their rivals our rivals quarterback. I love it, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you,
Yeah.
1,000%. This was a solid signing. See you, Mitch. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
Jack
so
and
disappointed.
Mitchell.
I'm so disappointed in Mitch. Like, I didn't like the signing. I liked the signing when he first came. Didn't like the signing because we've seen Mitch. Like, we've seen Mitch play. There's no improving that. Mitch is Mitch. He's that's just who he is, right?
Mitch is Mitch.
And then when we see him in preseason, I'm like, oh no, we got to do something better than this. This can't happen. This can't happen. So when they sign Mike, all right, Mitch, bye, see ya. I know you can't get rid of him right now because, well, you could if you wanted to.
No, but I think that they could get some kind of injury settlement with him. I think, and
Yeah.
because they only signed him for a year, so
Yeah.
there isn't going to be that much coming off the salary cap in dead space or anything like that. I can't imagine that they signed him for very much money.
You let Collins go.
What?
You let Collins go. What's his name? The O-lineman Collins?
Well, Lyle Collins?
Yeah, you let him go, and I think you got hit on that. I think they got hit on that. So, I mean, they can move that money around. So I'm not really worried about Mitch not being here.
See
No
ya.
disrespect. No
I ain't gonna
disrespect.
sleep, Mitch. I love you dearly. You're a nice person, but go play golf with Josh in the off season. That should be your backup plan.
Right. So do you have tea time? I didn't know if you had tea or not.
Tea time. I
All
got
right.
tea time. And guess what? You'll never guess. You'll laugh. But you go
Okay.
first.
Well, let's do the tea time right now.
For me, come on, just spill that. Come on, just spill that. Spill that tea for me. Spare no dirty tea. Yeah, tell me everything. Come on, just spill that.
It is tea time with Robyn. You know what time it is. We got some tea to spill because this is crazy. I don't know what's going on. So, you want to go first? Or you want me to
go first this time?
All right.
Why not? Because since we're on the subject, it's a great segue, right?
They're still
talk about Mike White. We talk about Mike White having played for the New York Jets. I got some spilling the tea to talk about because I want to know, who are the Jets? Who are they? Okay. Are they the tire fire?
Tire fire.
It was explained this week all over the media that the locker room is in total disarray.
Oh, yeah. You've seen that.
Aaron Rodgers is a jerk in the locker room and nobody wants to play for him. And the locker room is a mess. Did we not hear that this week?
That's surprising. No. That's surprising.
Not really. So that's the tire fire here. Okay. That's the tire fire here. Or are the New York Jets the same team that people are saying is going to win the Super Bowl? Because they have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So either they're a tire fire because they have Aaron Rodgers, or they're going to win the Super Bowl because they have Aaron Rodgers. Which is it?
Yeah. I'll say this. When it comes to that situation, because we've just been through that kind of with the whole dig situation. And when there's smoke, it's kind of a little bit of fire. All right. And we didn't want to believe there was anything going on. I was blind to the fact. I put my blinders on, didn't look at nothing. I was like, he's here. Da, 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 da. I don't know, Robyn. I'm going to believe when there's smoke, there's fire. That's not because that's what they do. That's what the Jets do.
If there's smoke, there's a tire fire in the case of the Jets. Because when there's smoke for the Jets, there's always a tire fire involved. But I have to say I'm spilling the tea about this because I don't know who the New York Jets are. If you listen to the media, you could be at one end of the spectrum or the other. Either Aaron Rodgers is the answer or he's the reason why they're going to turn into a tire fire. So I don't know. I do know one thing. Their defense is going to be very good.
Oh, no, that defense is scary. It's always been scary, though. It's been scary.
It's been good this year.
It's, yeah. I mean,
they're solid from top to bottom this year.
They are. I mean, the only area that I can probably say is safety. And that's just a little bit.
And I'd take their safety situation over ours.
I would too. So
that's my tire fire.
You're going to have to, Josh is going to have to dink and dunk. He's just going to have to chill out and, yeah.
Watch out, Josh. You're going to have to watch out.
Yes. That's going to be a very interesting game. That's the game that I might just be drunk.
We might all be drunk for that.
That game is,
that game scares me. The Jets always scare me with Robert Saleh because he is a good defensive coach.
He is. But
they got Aaron Rodgers.
But here's the thing about him being a defensive, I'll say guru a little bit, is that Josh beat him in San Francisco and he didn't know what to do, right? And he had a good defense in San Francisco.
It's true.
I think his defense here is kind of much better because, like you said, top to bottom, they have great defense.
Oh, they're solid.
I think Josh gets in his own way when he plays the Jets because he knows that defense is really good and he wants to prove them that I can elevate myself where you need to just elevate your guys. I think if Josh, he does. I think if Josh just goes in there and just play the dink and dunk, like there's sometimes some games that you're going to have to play that way. And it's okay. Just get out of there and get the win, right? You're not going to be able to go over top because you got those safeties. You got those cornerbacks. They are good. The guys up front, you got to get that ball out quick.
Ray Davis is your friend.
Right.
He's your friend, Josh.
Shakir is your friend.
Friend. Make them your friends.
Be one with them, Josh.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, yeah, I have to say that. So, my spill the tea is also Jets, New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins. When is it that we started trading with the AFC teams?
Beats me, because that surprised me.
That's frowned upon.
Generally,
like, you don't like. It's just not even that. You've seen it with Philadelphia and the Giants just recently. Like, you guys are giving Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. Like, we're living in a world now. We're trading with our rival. Like, what are we doing here?
Johan Dotson. From the Commanders to the Eagles. The Eagles are going to be loaded.
Why would you do that? You move him far away north as you can.
Dotson's a baller.
He is. I was surprised he was released, to be quite honest with you.
It must have been some in-house thing.
Had to be. The
only explanation. And why in the same division to the Eagles of all teams?
Of all teams. And who's over there? The head coach, he used to be with Dallas. Can't remember. I know his face. He was offensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys. I can't remember his name. Whatever. Yeah, but that's a shit show over there too. So Dallas. I can't stand, and I'm going off on another tangent. I cannot stand I can't stand Jerry Jones. Like, he is just. Yeah, prick. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on to another lovely topic that you have for us to talk about. And who might that be?
Tyler Bass. A moment of silence for Tyler. Tyler Bass. I said to Mike, right? I don't know if I still have it up here. I hope I didn't take it down. Oh, I think I did. Damn it. I said to Mike, I want the old Tyler Bass back who had the eye mark underneath his eye. That was that was the gangster Tyler Bass. He had a swag to him. I don't know who this guy is. Because bring back the other guy, because I don't know who this one is.
I don't know who this one is either, except I am going to say this one thing, which people will just die laughing, but he hasn't been the same since he got married.
Oh, God. Oh, you're blaming the girlfriend.
I'm blaming her. I'm blaming the wife.
Oh.
Something going on at home.
What's going on? I know, but people are going to take this serious. But I think
I'm joking because she is
joking.
She's joking.
I think it's
performance anxiety. I'll tell you what it is, because that's right up my bailiwick. And performance anxiety is something that can be very tricky to treat. However, it can be treated. And I mentioned this in an article that I wrote. When you have performance anxiety, there are several treatments that you can use. One that I find very effective is something called EMDR. And I'm not going to get into the weeds on this, but let me just suffice to say it's a way of helping people remove the trauma that they experience going through. In his situation, most of the time it was used to treat people that have had traumatic experiences in their life. But I have used EMDR for treating people that have performance anxiety, and it works beautifully because you just treat the anxiety like the trauma. right?
Gotcha.
Like, so for Tyler, he has to replace the visual in his head because obviously something's getting blocked in his flow. Okay, kickers always talk about the flow. Okay, the flow
Yep.
has to be right.
Or
Well,
the way the kick came off of his foot.
it has to flow right.
Right.
And when things don't flow right in your brain, they don't flow right in your foot.
Right.
And so that's where the issue may lie. And so there are treatments, there are very successful treatments that don't involve drugs or anything like that, where you can help a person separate that anxiety experience, that traumatic experience, with the result that they are afraid of having happen. In his case, I'm going to miss a kick. It's like, don't think about elephants. What's the first thing you think about?
Elephants.
Right? Elephants. If I say to you, T, don't think about elephants.
They're right there.
Are going to be all over your head.
They're right there, Robyn. I see them.
I see them. I'm seeing elephants right now myself. But
Right.
the point is, you have to work with this type of anxiety and deal with it. And he can deal with it. There's no reason he can't bring back the swag.
Yeah.
No reason he can't bring back the swag. The issue is, and I've seen other media people talk about this, where they will say, "Well, you know, once a kicker's done, he's done."
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've heard that, and I've seen where that's true,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not convinced that it has to be true in every case.
Because not even that. Before we started focusing on Tyler Bass, he was an 87th percentile kicker. So he's still that.
Well, and here's the thing. Can I ask you a question? Do you think that fans are giving him more of a problem than necessary because we're putting the pressure on him?
Because we're noticing it more. And not even that. I'll say this, Robyn, and I'm with you with that. I think that the kick alone last year and the death threats and being on the opposite side of that now, it's too much. It could be overwhelming to a person. And Tyler Bass looks like a person. And I don't want to say he's just this guy who's just, you know, hey guys. I don't want to say, because I don't know him personally.
Sensitive or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't want to put that on him because I don't know him personally.
Right.
But I'll say that the pressure is what it is. Like, it's a lot. That pressure last year of you miss. And here's the thing. If he made it, we still would have to play. That, like, he didn't lose us the game.
He didn't lose us the season either.
Right.
He did not. I know.
So I get it. I'm with you with that. And I'm also with the fans and say, come on, Tyler, you got to make that. Sean McDermott, he has to make that.
Too, but we can be better as fans.
Yeah, we have to be. Especially when it comes to a kicker, though, because you're out there by yourself. You're walking up. It's like free throws.
But kickers in Buffalo, come on.
Yeah.
You know,
he has a strong foot.
Leg. Right.
He has a strong leg. That's why they put him and Josh here, because of that. He's going through the yips. They called it yips. He's going through it. The yips. He's going through it. Hopefully he can get over the other side of that, because I don't want you can't cut Tyler Bass right now. It's $7 million, I think, each year. So it's not even it's not an option, guys. It's not an option.
Does this mean, though, and I think it might, to be honest with you, because you know McDermott.
Oh, he's done. When he's done, he's done.
Exactly. But I also think that McDermott will be going for on fourth down a lot more. He's going to tell Joe Brady, you know what? Let's just go for it on fourth down.
If they're after 40 and it's 4 and 1, they're going to go for it. But if it's 4 and 5, they might think about it. They'll consider it, because they're not going to trust Tyler Bass. And that sucks
especially
too.
If the weather is an issue.
Right. And that sucks too, because of his confidence. But
exactly.
I'm sorry.
It's like, they don't think I can do it.
No, I'm sorry. We don't. Like,
you got to prove it first.
Yeah.
Keep making those field goals, and
you
then
have
you'll be kicking more of them.
I never thought I would be worried about kicking and going into this season, Robyn. Never did I ever think that we would be thinking about freaking kicking along with everything else. We're thinking about our kicker.
A backup quarterback or safety or we got a list of
Our wide
worries.
receiver room sucks. Like it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Speaking of our defense and everything, well, it just came out this week that Bobby Babbage Jr. is going to be calling the defense this
Bobby in the
upcoming season.
box.
Bobby in the box is calling the defense. How exciting. I'm excited. Question, or not even a question. Did you see Bobby in preseason? He was going crazy in the box.
In the box, which is why he's not on the field. And it's probably a good thing.
I like
Bobby
him
in
on
the
the field,
box.
though.
Bobby has to stay in the box. Bobby's in the box where Bobby
He's intense.
belongs.
He's intense. I love it though. I like my defensive coordinator intense. I do.
I like them all intense.
I do too. I do. And
I
that's
used
what
to love a guy by the name of Carl Mock. He used to be an offensive line coach, probably, I'm dating myself, I don't know, 30 years ago. I don't remember how, maybe 40. But he was a big dude and he was a yeller. Man, he would be up and down the sidelines, just screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs from the beginning of the game to the end.
Oh,
I have no
wow.
idea how that guy ever kept his weight on because he was always on the go.
Oh, wow. Well, we thought we had one in Ken Dorsey and they fired him.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
He was intense too, but I don't know. Maybe they told him to tone it down, and then that's when it happened. That's what happened, Robyn.
Tone it down.
Yeah, tone that down. But lastly, we're getting long in the tooth right now. We got to talk about the hometown hero, Mr. Buffalo Joe and Andreessen. Did I pronounce it right? Andreessen. He made the squad. He made the 53. How exciting! He's just going around. He went to he went to a game, his old high school, and watched. No, UB. It was UB. He went back to UB and watched the game. Yeah, signing autographs. This is great.
He's probably like, oh my god.
What are we doing here? Signing autographs?
Yeah,
kids wanted his autograph. That was crazy. Good for him.
If you haven't seen it, there's a really worthwhile little snippet on buffalobills.com.
I haven't seen it. I gotta see it. Yes.
The iPad and everybody's congratulating him, and he had tears in his eyes, and
he still stays home with his mom and dad. It's crazy. Love it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I think this kid has some juice.
Yeah.
I am so much less worried if Terrell Bernard goes down than I was before Joe Andreessen came along in those 3 preseason games, because Bernard's not a big guy and he gets hurt. So I think it's a good thing we have Buffalo Joe.
I like it. I'm going to spin a narrative. I want to thank the Kansas City Chiefs for cutting him. I'm spinning that narrative out there. He went to their
I didn't know that.
Yeah, to their tryouts. They cut him. And then, Buffalo Bills sends out, invitations or whatever for the hometown guys. And
and for the University of Buffalo guys.
Yeah.
Right. I think they always have a couple walk-ons that they allow UB say, okay, try these guys.
Yep.
I did not know that the Chiefs did a tryout with the Chiefs.
Yep. Yeah. So thank you, Chiefs. I am going to spin that narrative because they always like to spin the Mahomes narrative. They want to spin the Worthy narrative. I'm spinning this one, and the other one I'm going to spin is Dwayne Carter. You guys traded with us, and we got Dwayne Carter. So I want to thank you now. I want to thank you now because
very much
in years when this guy produces, I want to go back and thank the Kansas City Chiefs. So thank you.
Thank the Kansas City Chiefs when Joe Andreessen runs
sacks
6 back for the AFC Championship game.
There it is, y'all. You heard it first. You heard it here.
Big. I'm going for it big.
You're going big. Tea time with Robyn. You heard it here first.
Go out. Okay.
So here's another thing that they didn't do. So we got 6 linebackers on the active squad. We have none on the practice squad. None. Which is fine.
It's fine.
Because you don't want to be caught with your pants down, like we were last year when we had to call the guy that was going on vacation to come and play. So I think
we can still call him if we need to.
we can still call him. He didn't. I don't think he put his papers in. He announced it, but I don't think there was no papers. But yeah, I don't want to. I like that. You don't want to be caught with your pants down. So go out and get 6.
I'm good with it. I'm glad that they kept 9 offensive linemen, 9 defensive linemen. I like the spread in terms of the roster and how it, and I do think we have to have 6 linebackers because it might take more than one linebacker to be able to make up for Matt Milano. So in other words, in one week, maybe there's this guy they want to put in. In another week, they might want to substitute somebody else.
And speaking of Matt Milano, we got some good news that he is on the IRs and he can return once he feels, quote unquote, feels better. But so they didn't put him out for the season. So he's just he can return. Let me see what I wrote because I did write it here.
I thought it was December at the earliest.
Yes, but Sean McDermott came out, or was it Sean or either Brandon Beane said that he didn't want to give a designated quote unquote time of when he would be back because he could be back sooner than what they anticipated. So some good news. Matt Milano was placed on IR today. It's a good sign indicating the team he can return. The team intends on him returning for the season, which is great. Brandon Beane said he cried when he heard the news about about Matt Milano.
I take it that's a good cry. You mean when
he got hurt? When he initially got hurt, he cried.
But obviously the surgery went well, and he must be healing faster than they thought. So
yes,
excellent news.
Because to give put him on IR, because everybody was waiting. Is he going to be on IR? Is he not? And so to get the news that he is on IR, can potentially return is great.
A good thing.
Any Matt Milano out there is a great Matt Milano. I'm sorry.
Any great.
Even if it's just pursuing and the guy's pursuing with you is great. I'm sorry.
His brain. We missed too much. We lost too much between losing Poyer and Hyde and Milano as well. No thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm done.
I think I am done too. That is it. Yep. I had something down here to thank everybody for watching and tuning in, but I'll still do it.
Thanks, everybody.
When I say that.
Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back next Thursday, right?
Yes, next Thursday. Oh my God, I can't wait, guys. The regular season is upon us.
It's
upon us.
Cards.
We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. That's what we are going to do. A heavy, we can't take any team lightly, and they have Kyler Murray, and they have Harris Jr., Marvin Harris Jr., wide receiver, and their defense has been a little bit beat up. We'll talk about it next week. I find that they're an interesting team, a very interesting team.
Interesting, and they always play us tough. And let's remember what happened the last time we played them.
Yeah, I think we need some revenge on that game. We do. I mean, the guys that were back there, it's not back there anymore. Completely not back there. None of those guys that did that whole Murray thing was back there. So, yeah, we need some.
Hail Murray, bye.
I never say that. It's Hail Mary. I don't care what he says.
I won't either.
Yeah, but yeah. Whatever. But guys, thank you again for tuning in. This has been Tea Time with Robyn. I am T. She is Robyn. We are out. So, and like always, go Bills.
Love you guys. Thanks.
Peace out.